Welcome back to the Improved Production Nationals here from Phillip Island. Darren Smith and Daniel Beckinsale joining you in commentary for this over 2 litre Groups B and D. And after the earlier heat this morning, Darren, these guys probably have an opportunity to get themselves a bit further up the field because it was declared after one lap.
Well, we worked ourselves up into a lather 3 times during that last 5 lapper with the restarts that were underway there. I guess the good news out of that, if there is any at all, is that all the drivers have walked away unscathed. There's a BMW 1M that's horribly scathed. Daniel Vareca, we're not actually sure what hit that. It's a wheel or a disc, but if you haven't check it out on social media, there's a horrible big slice in the top of the windscreen of that car. So not too sure whether he'll be taking any further part. There was heroes all around that avoided that accident, and certainly Graham Watts will have some good shots out of the back of his 200 SX as we see this field forming up, and let's hope that we can get for Castrol and Yokohama a really good clean race here for the Groups B and D in the improved production over 2 litres.
We just saw Cameron Vandendungen there in the 40 Winks car. He's right towards the rear of this field, had some issues in qualifying yesterday, and they've put a lot of work onto that car. There it is again on screen. I think he's right at the rear of the field for this one. You can see him on his own, warming the tyres up. Now, he's got a bit of experience coming through the field, both here at Phillip Island and with the Victorian Improved Production State Championship. So he'd be used to doing it by now, but probably not where you want to be starting your Nationals campaign.
Yeah, certainly James Ellsworthy works very, very hard on keeping this car under Cameron, and Cameron likes to head out on the black stuff and undo all the good work every time they go to the racetrack. So we'll see what happens there. But I tell you what, this is a great field. There's Troy Lloyd. He's coming down now, and he's got a fair way back in the field. Now he's been a very, very fast competitor over the last 2 years locally here in the Shep City car, and has had a good run locally. Of course, his brother has run that car. Stephen has run that car over quite a few years now, so it is its peak development. I'd really like to see that car do very well out of today. It looks like it's Wayne Twist in the BMW in behind him there as the field make their way down onto the grid for this second race of the day. And let's hope that there is no more mayhem than we had this morning, and let's put that behind us and continue on. There's Fankhauser, there's Graham McPherson. Graham McPherson knows how to win races and improve production for many years, made sure that Tony Floriani had the VH Commodore under him. And now this car, the VE, coming down with Graham at the wheel. Great to see Graham behind the wheel and having a bit of fun doing so as well. It really is a guy that glass half full kind of racer, and as long as he's on the track, he's happy. There's one of the Vareca cars as well, Gary McKay, who has worked tirelessly with his wife Peter behind the scenes to get this event together with the likes of Jeff Bull and the Pyack Race Committee as well. So Gary's got himself just outside the top 10 there for the start of this race. And it's Cook and...
Just look at that sky.
Right,
Beautiful sky.
Look at that. That's exactly what we want to see, isn't it? Just nothing like it was down here for MotoGP, where it was, as Barry Sheen said, gateway to hypothermia. This is a fantastic place to go racing.
Especially when you got sunshine like this. We've got all the cars lined up, everybody ready to go for this 4th heat of the weekend. Waiting for the lights to come on. We've got Hislop and Lawrence on the front row. I can see from where we are now, Hislop is a fair way back from his box, so he's not worried too much about edging his way forward as the lights go out and we wait for the launch. Very nice launch from Hislop, and the rest of the field getting away comfortably as well. We're 4 wide further down the back as the RX-7s go past each other, and we're flying away. Vandendungen to the outside right at the rear of the field, and Lawrence getting swamped down into turn 1.
Looks like Betty Sheets gets through very nicely there indeed. There's Justin Wilson in the Monaro, in the GDS that had a troubled run yesterday. Smoke pluming out of the back of that car, parked off to the driver's left down at turn 4, and that great XY out of South Australia. If he can get that sorted to suit Phillip Island, he'll do well.
Chris Thomas going a little bit backwards through Southern Loop. He's got Twist on his outside now, and McMaster in the Beers R Us car will be looking for his way through. McMaster known for doing a bit of grass cutting during the New South Wales Championship, and they're getting rounded up by the fast-moving Commodore that had an engine failure, I think it was, at the end of yesterday's heat, and a few telltale pieces of smoke from that one again. So we might see an issue here as we go around with McKay in the mid-pack. You can just see how it's probably the nastiest place to be is in the middle of this mid-pack in over 2 litres in any one of the heats, because everybody's playing for keeps at the moment.
It's pretty angry. It's at this time they're trying to score points to get themselves through. So it's an accumulation of points to get through to the 4:05 start for the Castrol-led Yokohama Nationals this afternoon. And we've got some charges coming through the field there. Troy Lloyd trying to impress. There's Ray Hislop. And yes, this is the car that used to be the black and silver outfit, which was a wrap. It's now back to its Ford blue. And Ray said, I do like it in the Ford blue. It really does get the heart beating. There's... I think that's Benny Schutz in P2.
Kirkham's going back into the back of the pits, so that's over for him. As we go back to the front, you can see Lawrence, starting to chase down Schutz in front of him, so he is on a charge. And then look at these guys further down. They're starting to spread out a bit at the front. Ray Hislop getting away. He will just want to run on his own and try to get that car running as smoothly as possible.
Got an 808 just running down right at the very front of the field there. There's Fankhauser, a Victorian champion of a little while ago. And then it's back to Adam Poole in the Holden Monaro. And then it's back to Cook, who also was a Victorian improved production champion. And a little Escort mixing it up in the middle there. I'm not quite sure who that is. Is that no, it's not Justin Keys. That's 808. Just trying to catch that. That's number 31, which is Michael Cruz. And he's really punching in the big end of the field there because McPherson's in behind, then Vereka. McKay's got them all starting to bank up behind.
Tirana's too wide.
Six-cylinder Tirana. This is not running any aero that you didn't see in the GDR XU1 days, and he's been running this car since 1990. There's the 40 Winks Hawthorn car. He's got through in a couple of Victorians. There's the O'Neill Employ Me Evo, and I tell you what, if it gets wet, those things are going to be very handy.
He will come on strong, but at the moment, Vanden Dungen is charging through the field. He's up into about 15th place here, it looks like, so he is definitely on the tear, willing to make up some points, and now he finds himself behind the King car. He's got a couple of Tiranas right in front of him. He's going to go down the inside, coming towards Hayshed through the sweeper. That's a brave move, as we see the Tirana come through, and we just wait for that to clear. There's Vanden Dungen, so where'd King go? King sidestepped him, and now he's no longer there as McKay continues to put his defensive wall up, I guess you could say, and we've lost the Evo of King. The King Evo has disappeared around the back of the circuit somewhere.
Scotty Wilson retiring there as well. That's a shame. He's gone back in again. Yesterday had oil pluming out of that car, so he disappears into the back of the field. Ben Schutz now charging at turn 1. As the day goes on, the RX-7s will get stronger. In the 10 lap of this afternoon, about lap 7 or 8 or 9, they'll start to come into their own. It's all about the harm minimisation of Ray Hislop running away from them, and the likes of Damien Milano. Fankhauser, the number 32 now.
You don't need to worry about Ray Hislop running away in this one, as Poole puts pressure on Fankhauser through Southern Loop, because you can let Ray run away. He only gets points for winning. There's only a certain number of 50 that you can get, and that only gives you your position for the start of the final. So what you need to do is manage your car, make sure you're comfortable with it as we head towards it. That final, which is going to be impressive.
And he had nothing short of an absolute artillery of Yokohama sitting in the shed this morning, because the tyre rule is that you've got to run the Yokohama 050, and that's it. You can run as many as you want. He's got them stacked up at the door.
And Poole continues putting pressure on. You saw a rear brake lock up there down into Honda. He's obviously pushing hard to go with Fankhauser, who I probably would have expected to actually see a little bit further up. We've seen a lot of pace from that car in the Victorian Championship this year, and he's probably a little bit further down the field in 7th place than I probably would have expected him to be.
Johnny Perkins in the green, number 54, RX-7 there. I might have called it as a Vereka car earlier. I apologise for that. Both teams coming from country Victoria. And there we've got the 75 pushing hard there, the Tirana as well. A nod to what has been a fantastic racing history. Adam Williams out of Tassie. Great to have him here. McKay taking his racing line down into the right-hander at the bottom of the hill there.
I just took a breath in because Vanden Dungen was so late under brakes down the inside, and McKay decided to defend that. It looked like they might have contact for a second, but both of them seasoned campaigners. They're giving each other enough room. And just look how beautiful that GP automotive car is. Good effort to McKay as well for putting this show together, really, and then coming out and racing hard as well inside the top 10 as Vanden Dungen to the outside should get the drive to push back past him as they come over the hoop.
Wayne Alford following him through too. That's a good run. Good to see that car mixing it up as well. As around the outside goes the 40 Winks Hawthorn entry. His father Hank cheering him on from up on top of the building here. A very family entrenched in the Phillip Island Auto Racing Club. Enjoy their racing down here all the time. is all the way to the back there. Here's our race leader, and he is coming around to the top of Lukey Heights for the final time in this race. This is Ray Hislop, number 1.
To be honest, we've Ray's first win of this weekend at the Castrol Edge Improved Production Nationals, and probably waited a bit longer than we thought to see him win after Milano pipped him at the post, managed to hold on in the opening heat of the weekend. Ray Hislop now returning serve and in many ways serving notice to his competitors that he's here to keep the number 1 on the door and keep this impressive streak of over 2 litre national championships going.
Car looks absolutely fantastic coming around onto the straight there. And it is running a very, very rich mixture indeed as he comes on and charges down to the line. Will take out this race, his first race victory for this weekend. It's not the Nationals, it's just about accumulating points and getting himself up the grid. We wait now for, I think it was Ben Schutz that was in P2 in the WPS Racing RX-7. Of course, Ben, there he is, comes to the line. Of course, he races at the 12-hour.
He's held off Lawrence.
The Daytona Coupe, and doing a fantastic job, and won here previously in the Matthew Flinders Plate. And there's Gary McKay in the GP Automotive Tirana looking resplendent, and he is starting to fall into the clutches of another RX-7. That'll annoy him. There's Wilson, still out on track and smoke pluming
That's the
out.
same as we saw yesterday from Wilson with smoke out of the rear. So obviously they haven't fixed it, and O'Neill is off as well at Hayshed. So something's happened to that car. I feel like King has got to be somewhere around the circuit as our cameraman tries to find Wilson here. There he is. Ultimately, we've cut away to the finish line. No, we're back to Wilson. So just to give you a full overview of what's happening around the circuit.
Andrew Morris getting across the line there, as I mentioned earlier. Great to see Andrew back at the track. It's been some time in his VK Commodore, and there's Wilson just trailing it in at in the number 51 to bring that out. So boy oh boy, 5-lap races, aren't they absolutely frantic?
So we'll try to give you the best overview we can of the top 5 because unfortunately live timing has gone down at the circuit here at the moment, so we're unable to get it on any of our devices. Hislop managed to bring it home. Schutz is second. Lawrence trailed him all the way for 3rd place in that heat. That's going to change up the point situation as we head towards the final 2 heats, as now Hislop will find himself on 95. I think Cherry will go to 95 as well. Sorry, Milano, classified as the winner of the last race, should end up on 100. So he's going to be the man who can hold for pole for the final race of the weekend. And it's going to be a great race coming up for those guys. We'll have a short break here on Blendline TV from the Improved Production National. Streaming resumes in about 20 minutes. Thanks to our graphics guys for the handy tip there at the bottom.